Let's see. What up? How we doing tonight? How y'all doing this evening? Oh, am I muted? Let me see. Let me make sure I'm good on my end. Everything's set up solid over here. I'm just checking one thing real quick. Bet. How y'all doing tonight? What's good? Welcome to Hawk Soups Live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Your one-stop shop for all NBA news, conversations, topic, everything. I was about to say the stream like it was froze for a second on my end, but we are good. How are y'all doing? Thanks for pulling up. We got a lot that we want to talk about. Let me go ahead and mute that real quick. Get my notes together and stuff. Let me pull the chat up. How y'all doing? Hey, Connie, what's good? Thanks for pulling up to the stream. How you doing today? Range, what's good, my man? How you doing? Thanks for pulling up. Guru, what's up? Thanks for pulling up. How's everybody doing tonight? Doing good. A couple weeks out from All-Star break, couple weeks out from the trade deadline. We're going to talk trades, of course. Unfortunately, it's not like a ton of like high priority trades to really be talking about right now, but we will talk about a little bit of trades. But what we're here for real, is yes, Range. I like where you think, and Range is already asking the right questions of asking about how we're going to do this grading system. We will get into that. Yes, tonight we are grading Eastern Conference teams. I know we talked about this last week on stream. This week we're doing Eastern Conference teams. Next week we're going to do Western Conference teams. And that honestly should put us 1 week before if I'm not mistaken, that might put us 1 week before the trade deadline. So we might be able to do a nice little trade wrap up. Because today's the 18th. Next week we'll do Western Conference. That's the 25th. The week after that is February 1st. That's actually my birthday as well. Shout out to me. And the week after that actually is the trade deadline. We'll stream on the 8th. The trade deadline will be the 9th. If trade deadline go crazy, we may do something special for it. I don't know. And just so we can talk about some stuff sooner, we'll see. But we'll get into this. So Range asks, is this graded on the expectations the team had or how they're actually doing? It's a mix of both. So what I did was I went back and looked at some of our old streams and took a look at what basically my expectations were for some of these teams. And I want to today is grade them kind of on a weighted system. Part of it is how they're currently doing right now. And the other part will be what my kind of predictions were. So I have the screenshots and I'll share that when we get there of what my predictions were at the time. They're interesting to say the least. Some of them, some are better than others. And some of it I was like, yo, Hawk, what were you thinking for some of these? But let me see who's pulling up. Rage is here. What's good, Rage? How you doing tonight? Let me make sure I actually click that. Yeah, Rage is here. What's good? How you doing? Hey, Pegasus Media. I feel like I ain't seen y'all in a little bit. How y'all doing over there down in Florida? Overall, I've been doing good, Rage. Let me click the right, if I can click the right comment. Yeah, overall, I've been doing pretty good, Rage. Can't complain. Life has been pretty solid for all intents and purposes. Low Gaming, thanks for pulling up to the stream. Appreciate you, my guy. And then because of the expectations, Pacers is an A. The Pacers is an interesting case because they definitely completely demolished expectations. Let me pull up my notes real quick. And we can go ahead and get into this. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull these notes up. You already know we made a tier list because that's just, for me, that is the best way to do some of this stuff on stream visually with you guys. I'm a fan of the tier lists. Every time I seem to make a tier list, we rock with it. Y'all rock with them. So I'm going to try to find, honestly, more ways to implement more visual stuff in the stream. That's like a low-key goal of mine. Does it feel delayed to you? I don't know. It might. It's everything on my end seems straight, Low Gaming. If it seems weird, maybe give it a refresh. Maybe refresh the stream, close it out, and reopen up the YouTube app, something like that. I don't know. Everything on my end, it seems stream feels a little delayed. Everything on my end seems to be good. So maybe refresh. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so I try to implement more visual stuff for the stream. Because the streams that I like to watch usually have something visual going on. I watch a lot of just talking streams, to be honest with you, but I also like when they try to implement some sort of visual. So I'm going to try to do that today with the tier list. Just give me half a second while I pull this up. Tier lists are goated for sure. See, that's how I feel about them, Connie. That's exactly how I feel about them. Tier lists are goated for sure. What I do with these notes? Boom. So the first thing I want to do is at the end of the stream, you got a King Sixers trade. I'm very curious. Drop it in the Discord so you don't forget, unless you're gonna remember. But I'm very curious to see what that trade looks like. Let me just. Can I? Image options? No. I want to show y'all just the screenshot I took, but I'm trying to see if I can show you just the screenshot without showing you the rest of my notes. So give me half a second. I'm pulling this up now. Perfect. Yep, I can. All right. So I went back into last year. So if you don't know, we did a tier list at the beginning of the season. We did just comparing standing predictions. We did standing predictions at the beginning of the season. We did these back in October, I want to say, like right after preseason. So we got to see a little bit of preseason basketball. Then we did standing predictions. So I want to just go over we'll do the same thing next week for Western Conference, but I wanted to share the East real quick. And let me ask this before we get into this, since Connie asked, what do I think about the Jazz? Real quick, the Jazz to me are definitely cooling off a little bit. They had that crazy hot start and caught everybody off guard. They're cooling off a little bit, and I think they're going to utilize this moment that they're cooling off to maybe not gut the entire roster, but I know some teams have had their eyes on Mike Conley, and we'll talk about some trade stuff a little bit later. I can see Mike Conley maybe being traded off, but honestly, most of the rest of those pieces, I truly can see them keeping most of it and maybe just trading Mike Conley and Max just because he doesn't fit their age timeline. But I wouldn't be surprised if they kept him either. Like they have a lot of options right now. They did their rebuild and their reset very, very well. I don't have my iPad. Hold on. Need the iPad because I need. Yeah, little game. And I remember those. We was out here in the summer and early fall, and then nobody to blame but myself. I just fell off because I stopped posting as often, but we back. So I appreciate you for pulling up. All right. Opening up the Stream Deck. So there's a couple of things that I noticed. Do I think Jordan Clarkson could ever be a starter? I think he could. I think on the right team. But I also think, see, this is like, hey! I told you I was going to get it, VR. Yes, sir. So, all right. So completely off topic. If you're part of the Rewatch gang, I'm sorry. It's going to look confusing real fast. I got to address this. So the past at least 4 streams, I've been trying to set up the Discord chatbot command. Mega VR Freak, our mod, has told me how to do it 1,000 times. He's been telling me about how to do it in the Discord. He's been telling me how to do it on stream, and I could not figure it out. Because on my end, what I'm seeing back on the back end on Streamlabs, I got everything set up right. I got the Discord link in there. I set the chat bot as a moderator on my YouTube account. And I'm like, yo, what is going on? I go in Streamlabs today, and I'm actually going to show y'all because it was a very simple thing. I forgot to actually just turn CloudBot on, like to enable it. It was never... Oh. That's why streams lagging. Hopefully, successful, and we should be back. All right, so we did drop out for like a second or two. So essentially, yes, it didn't work because I just did it wrong. Innocent and honest mistake. No, isn't that what we say around here? Innocent and honest mistakes. Excellent. Range says the Mavs, the Wolves, and the Heat should be the teams that are looking for, the Mavs, Wolves, and Heat should be looking for Conley. Maybe Suns too, so they can get another ball handler with Booker and Paul. I think I had written down somebody I wanted to Suns to go after. It might have been Conley, but I think it was also. I heard loosely that the Suns might be interested in somebody like uh, Terry Rozier. So we'll see how, if that actually happens or not. But yeah, we'll see. I like the Wolves, the Heat, and the Mavs though for Conley. I don't know if I like the Heat as much, only because I don't see a huge difference between what Mike Conley's doing this year and what Kyle Lowry's doing this year for the Heat. I think for the Heat, they need like a bucket getter because they just lack offense. Mavs and Wolves, I think, especially the Wolves, Conley would be a great fit because I wouldn't be surprised if D'Lo's not here come the end of this season. I really wouldn't be surprised. Hey, the top 10%. I was low-key just re-looking at some of those streams. Those were some fun streams. The top 10s was fire. We might have to do a mid-season top 10. We just might have to do a mid-season top 10. And the Pirtle at the end with the guess the player things. Those were some fun streams. All right, let's get into this. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. So I just want a little refresher for where I'm coming from as I go through these grades. Share right screen. So this is from Bring It Back for the one time. We might have to bring back not only Pirtle but also some top 10 streams. Dang, is that let me hold on one second. No. I want no. It's the top of my head is gonna be cut off in this circle because I can't remember how to fix it. I don't like the top of my head is cut off in circle form. I'm not gonna lie to you. But off the top of my head, I can't remember what I did to fix. It's all right. Hawk 4 months ago versus Hawk now. Exactly. That is crazy. So 4 months ago, this is what my standings were for the Eastern Conference. I won Bucks, Sixers, Miami Heat. I'm shocked I actually had the Heat so high because I know all summer we were talking about how I was like apprehensive about the Miami Heat and how I didn't think they were going to actually not be good, but I just was like, I don't know. The Heat is definitely a L. Having the Heat in number 3 is a L, and I will own that. Because I was like, I had the Heat over the Celtics. It really did surprise me. I guess I could do that. I'll play around with the settings later, but for now, we just moved the camera and now we're there. Good luck, VR. So once again, don't know why I had the Heat as high. Don't know why I had the Celtics at 4th. I'm not apologizing for my Sixers and Bucks. I'm truly not. I still think the Sixers have the potential to be a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. I want to say right now we are close to that. I don't have the standings memorized off the top of my head. I know we won that game last night, so I don't know if that moved anything for us. Okay, so we're 3rd in the East right now, 1 game back, a half a game back behind the Bucks for 2nd place. I'm not mad at my Sixers take, to keep it a being with you. The Cavs, I feel all right about. The Nets, honestly, I feel all right about. I have them as 6. It's really just the Miami Heat throwing everything off. But this is where it gets ugly for me personally. Didn't expect the Bulls to be as bad as they currently are. Didn't expect the Toronto Raptors to be as bad as they currently are. Didn't even expect, actually, the Hawks I had at 9, they're currently 9th, so I'll take that. But the Knicks is a big surprise to me. The Wizards, that actually makes a lot of sense. The Pacers is the biggest surprise for me personally. As we see, I had the Pacers last. Outside of like the Pacers and the Heat, most of this list ain't terrible. Well, and the Bulls and Raptors, but they just disappointed me. If they win a couple of games, they're a 7 seed. That's just how close the Eastern Conference is. Right now, the Bulls are 20 and 24. The 10 spot, the Heat have the 7 spot, but they're only 24 and 21. You win a couple of games, you lose a couple of games, and you're right back. You're right back there. So, all that in mind, let's go ahead and get into this. Let's go ahead and get into these grades. All that in mind, let's go ahead and get into these grades. Let's see what y'all talking about in here. Yeah, the Celtics, I don't know why I had them so low. I think I don't know. I want to go back. I didn't actually go back and watch what I was saying. I should have did that. Really did some homework. Maybe I'll do that for the Western Conference one. But But just looking at the screenshot, I'm still trying to figure out why the Celtics were so low. Hey, Guru says I'm starting a torch channel just like you are, inspiration. Hey, I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. And go for it. I tell everybody to go for it, bro. That's I literally told everybody to go for it. I had almost the same, not the rankings, but in tiers. I do remember your you sending your rankings range. Not preying on your downfall. Off-season grades, that was a fun stream. We're gonna do more grading and stuff because that's just fun stuff. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Celtics. I had the Celtics one, even out Rob and Ime. I'm not mad at that, and I think that might be why I dropped the Celtics down to 4 because I knew they were going to be missing Rob for so much, and I really thought that was going to be a huge impact. We'll talk about Rob in a second because I have some notes on him as well. But I felt like I'm stalling. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the tier list. So like I said, we're just going to do Eastern Conference today. We'll do Western Conference next week. I was about to say, where are the actual team names? Eastern Conference today. We'll do Western Conference next week. The Pinks... VR, the pink sweatshirt was never like a real thing. I just had a pink sweatshirt on that day. That's just what I was wearing. So I just did the video on what I was wearing. You feel me? Not if I would have had 1,000 viewers. Speaking of viewers, we're not live on TikTok right now. Dang it. Hey, what's good? I haven't seen this name in a grip. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't even remember what I used to say when I saw the name, but I'm gonna say DZ. Appreciate you for pulling up. Yeah, I think I put Celtics low because at that point, if we did this in October, we would have known about the coaching drama, and so I would have been like, Ime was a big part of what, to me at least, what made them so successful. I wasn't 100% sure about the past. Well, I wasn't 100% certain on the new head coach. It just was a lot. It just was a lot. It's not a thing. The pink sweatshirt is not a thing now. All right, let me as I pull this up, I gotta set this tripod up. Give me half a second because I forgot to do this earlier. Lil Gaming, it says I swear you put the Heat high because you thought the Heat picked up a good supporting cast in the offseason. See, I know that couldn't have been what I said. Not saying you're wrong or like not to make that sense came off way harsher than I meant it to. But the reason I don't think I would have said I thought the Heat had a good supporting cast is because I literally made a couple of TikToks about how the Heat didn't do anything to get better, and I was worried about them. And I thought they were going to miss Bam. Excuse me. I thought they were going to miss PJ Tucker. I didn't think they had enough offense on their team. I truly don't know how I didn't do that. I just don't know. I didn't really even realize this light is on back up there. Original. All right. Let me go join the live on the YouTube channel. All right. So we just live on YouTube. We live on TikTok finally. All right, so let's go ahead and get to this tier maker. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know it couldn't have been. I said something about supporting cast because it really ain't that much supporting cast. It's pronounced like sounds. That's actually dope. Sounds? SNDZ? It's pronounced like sounds? That's dope. I'm a sucker for like a good username somewhere, and that's a good one. I'm not going to hold you. Give Hawk a few milliseconds. I do be saying, give me a second a lot. What supporting cast? Not exactly. Knock off Jokic. That's why I'm like, I know I couldn't have said supporting cast because they didn't do anything. And that was one of the things I said they didn't do anything. Like I was mad that the Heat didn't do anything because I wanted them to do something because they just went to the finals that I knew they needed more offense. And we'll talk about it, but right now they need more offense. All right, so here we got the tier list. Eastern Conference. Better than one thing I am not good at. I can set up a stream. I know how to work a camera. I can do some edits. I know how to do a lot. Coming up with names for stuff, it's never been great. But back to your comments. Saudi, you were talking about the Eastern Conference when they say I'm no longer a Bulls fan. I get it. Don't completely give up on the Bulls sounds. I get it. Don't completely give up on them. I'm back from last week. Just can't be with practice members 8 p.m. Wednesday. Hey, Hubert O'Brien, I appreciate you for pulling up on TikTok. Said remember from last week. That's what I like to hear. for the sweatshirt on Discord. It's just a pink sweatshirt from either Old Navy or H&M. I didn't hate Walmart Jokic. It just Heat fans were like, "Yo, we got Nikola Jovic. He gonna be nice." And I was like, "All right, I'm not staking all of my center position on a rookie when you're a team that predicates so much of his identity on defense." I just wasn't really believing it. Oleezy was good. Thanks for pulling up to the stream. The Sixers been solid, Sounds. The Sixers have been solid. We done dealt with a couple of injuries and stuff. We'll talk about them in a little bit, but they've been solid. And Matt X, thanks for pulling up. You're never late. As soon as you're here, you on time. Ain't no such thing as late. Appreciate you for pulling up. Yeah. 29 underscore over everything. What's your opinion on Jokic on TikTok? He is one of the best centers the NBA has ever seen. I'll say that. He's one of the best centers that the NBA has ever seen. We're going to go ahead and jump right into this. I guess I don't really have a rhyme or reason. I'm going to start with, since the Nets are here first, I have them in the order of their standings, I think, currently. Well, roughly. But the Nets are the first team here, so I'm going to go over the Nets first. So the Nets, I'm going to say like A-, B-, whatever. Let me do one thing. If you live with a stream, it's going to sound a little weird. I want to just redo this intro because I want to clip this and make it a video for YouTube later. All right, so we're going to do Eastern Conference grades based on what my expectations were at the beginning of the season. I'll share what those expectations were as we go along. So these grades aren't necessarily solely based on if a team is high or low in the standings. I got some low standing teams with some higher grades than some higher standing teams, just because my expectations were one thing and they either exceeded it, met it, or, were way below expectations. So let's go ahead and get into this. We have a tier list. Let's go ahead and start. All right. I didn't do, I guess, S tier. Hey, Boston have his own X tier. I'm not mad at that. For Jokic, greatest offensive center ever, that's tough for me, only because when you really think about it, the center position has been so, in the history of the NBA, honestly, until maybe 10 years ago, the center position was so, to maybe 10, 15, dominant, and the teams that went on generation, not all of them, but a lot of the teams that went on generational runs had really, really great centers. Like Shaq, Wilt, Hakeem, even a guy like Arvydas Sabonis, that's just a guy I'm really just a big fan of. So Jokic is definitely in the conversation for greatest offensive center ever. I just don't know if he has it yet or not. It's tough. It's tough. All right. So let's go ahead and do this. Starting out, we're going to start with the Brooklyn Nets. They're currently fourth in the Eastern Conference. They're 27-16. And I gave them a B, a solid B. Now, the Brooklyn Nets, as we all know, they had a very, 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 very rough start. A lot of off-court stuff. Honestly, that's really what it was. Just a lot of off-court stuff, from Kyrie's suspension to Steve Nash getting fired. KD's one of the trade requests, demanding the trade in the summer. They just started this season with a whole lot of turmoil. Once that off-court stuff stopped, they really turned it around. They really, really turned it around, and went on I want to say that their peak, they were at a 12-game streak. I saw a critique of this team by some people on the internet of they're too reliant on KD and Kyrie, and I'm like, I get that they are very reliant on them scoring in a crazy efficient manner, but that's also why you have those guys in your team, and that's what they're there for. So it's a catch-22. To me at least, it doesn't feel like they're over relying on them. They just expect their superstars to be superstars. So I'm cool with it. And this is range. This is just mid-season. So for right now, to me, they turned it around in this moment over the last month. But because I got to include the first month and a half of the season, that's what puts them at a B for me personally. At the end of the season, they can just mess around, do some extra credit, and they go end up at an A. But for right now, they're a B for me. That's all. This is also why I love doing grades, because I get reactions like this from y'all, and I like it. I like when we have conversations. I like when y'all don't agree with me because then I get to see y'all side of things. Y'all get to see my side of things. We get to have a conversation on the low. All right, let's get into let's knock out some of these A's. Celtics. I think I have this. Celtics. Actually have an A plus. They well exceeded my expectations. I literally have written down here. I don't want to jinx them, but they remind me a lot of how I felt about the Suns last year. And if y'all remember on these streams last year, especially going into the playoffs, almost every week I was talking about the Suns, saying I don't see any flaws in this team, and that's starting to feel that's starting to be how I feel about the Boston Celtics. I love what Malcolm Brogdon is bringing to this team. He's been great off the bench and just been like a steady hand of just within that offense. He's not and he doesn't have to be the Malcolm Brogdon that we all know he has been in the years past in terms of his scoring, but they don't need that from him. He's still playing really great defense. He's still playing well, right? And also have written out here for the Boston Celtics, I was worried about RG3's return. RG3. I am not a football fan. I don't know why I said that. Time Lord's return, Robert Williams III. And one of the things I was worried about was like, I don't know what he's going to look like. Well, I just happened to stumble across, ended up being watching. I think it was a second game back, and he looked springy. I mean, like his numbers weren't crazy. Like he didn't go crazy scoring. Like he had some rebounds. I want to see I saw him get 2 blocks. He's playing a defense around the rim. Yes, he did just Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon did just have 30 off the bench the other night. He had 30 in back-to-back games off the bench. Their last 2 games he had 30. But Time Lord, I literally just written down, he looks springy, and that's good considering his injury was a lower body injury. And when Udoka was out, like Olizi just said, I also thought they were going to miss a step, and they didn't. They didn't miss a step at all. They looked just as good as they did on their finals run last season. So shout out to the Celtics for keeping up this great level of play. Yeah, the Nets have been really good. Going back to you, Mad X, the KD injury is literally the worst thing possible for them right now. We'll see how they continue to fare. It's funny, not to circle back on the Nets. I need Ben Simmons to score more. I need Ben Simmons to try to score the ball. I know he had a triple-double in their second game without Ben Simmons, but in that without Kevin Durant, but in that first game without Kevin Durant, he didn't even look at the basket. The Nets need him to try to score more. All right. Taco stepdad, what's good? Now RG3, I don't know where I got that. Rob Will to Serge Ibaka. Wait. I watched the video Thunder. Could you compare the current Celtics? I watched the video on the 2012 Thunder. Could you compare them to the current Celtics? Maybe I'm tripping. Range that Thunder team was made me love basketball and I feel like they're different because of Boston's defensive abilities. That's what I was going to say, Mad X. I could see the almost beginning of the comparison of like young, really good players that built a team that can go to, a title, go to the finals. But the main difference for me is that's OKC team in 2012. As much as I love them, love all those guys from that team, and it's one of the teams that really cemented my basketball fandom. The difference with this Celtics team is they play elite defense. That OKC team wasn't bad necessarily defensively, but they don't play defense like this team. Like this team does. Other A team obviously has got to be the Bucks. If you really care, I had the Celtics as the A plus. The Bucks are just the A. They're still dealing with Chris Middleton's injury. A lot of people I think I made a TikTok about this literally just yesterday. People saying that the Bucks are falling off or they don't look as dominant as they used to. I've heard some comments about Drew Holiday's performances. I even heard people saying Giannis doesn't look as dominant as he has in the past. They're just missing Chris Middleton. But even with that, they're still second in the East. They're 29-16. They're still great defensively. Offensively, I think they can maybe have a couple of things to be desired, but that's because you're missing 20 points a game on some really solid efficiency from Chris Middleton. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at or or nor am I losing sleep about the idea that the Bucks fell off or anything like that. Before we start looking at comments again, I'm gonna go into the next team, and that's my Sixers. I gave my Sixers a B. I like what the Sixers are doing. I they're meeting they're a little bit below my expectations, but I take it with a grain of salt because we spent so much time with Joel Embiid injured, with James Harden out of the lineup. Tyrese Maxey just got back like a week ago. Well, like mid-December. And we're pulling it together. That's all I can say. They're pulling it together. When the team is healthy, when everyone is there, they do look good. I think the Sixers, and this is me just being a Sixers fan, so I'm gonna talk about the Sixers a little longer than everybody else. But to me, the Sixers have one of the best starting fives in the NBA. But when you start to look at our bench, is where it's understandable, you really can start poking some holes in our bench. We have a lot of specialist guys. I've said this before. The one, I guess, thing that helped fulfill that a little bit was the addition of DeAnthony Melton. I've loved what I've seen from him this year so far. The two-way play, I'm loving it. I'm loving what I'm seeing. But every now and then you still got guys like Korkmaz and George Niang in the game. I love those guys. They're flame torches. Like when they're hot, but they're not amazing defenders. And when they're not hot, it's like, what are you out there for? So there's some things to be desired from the bench for the Sixers, but starting five is one of the best in the league. Call me biased. I don't care. Make sure y'all go vote yes in the Discord poll and announcements. I don't even know what the Discord poll is and announcements either. I ain't gonna lie to you. You must have put something in there. I'll have to check it out in a little bit. If I'm the Nets, I'm trading. You would trade Ben, Mad X? That surprises me. I'm willing to give, the only reason I'm willing to give Ben some more time and to figure this all out, because if he does figure it out, he really is a perfect fit for this Nets team. Like I can't think of a team in the NBA that's built better for him to thrive. Like this team is made for him to thrive. So I just hope he can figure it out. The shooters aren't shooting well. Chris is playing for the 29 other teams in the NBA. Smart and Harden is an impossible comparison. Full support of the Bucks. I'm not mad at that. I mean, I'll be honest with you though, like, if I'm I don't see a need in trading Ben Simmons. That's just me. If I'm the Nets, I don't see a need in trading Ben for me. That's just Mad X. You're trying to trigger me, bro. First off, you say let's trade Ben Simmons, even though I think he's a great fit. Now you're saying Hawk. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm slowly starting to feel like Joel Embiid is a tiny bit overrated. We got to go full face for this. I need you to explain this, Mad X. You derailing the whole stream is about to be put on pause because that hurts me. That hurts. I'll say this. I think I don't think he's overrated. To me, obviously, I'm not going to say he's overrated. I'm a Sixers fan. I think there's a conversation between 7-8 guys in the NBA that you can have any order of these 7-8 in any order, to be completely honest with you. I think the NBA is really, really, I think there's a couple of guys in the NBA that are that talented that you can legitimately make the argument that about 7 guys are the best in the NBA. And I think Joel is one of those 7. So it just depends on who you're talking to and on what day. Because you can talk to one person and they're going to tell you Joel Embiid is the best person in the NBA. And then you can have walk down the hall and have a conversation with somebody else and they'll tell you he's the 7th best person in the NBA. Neither conversations to me would feel like an overrating. That's what I'll say to that. Hey, Nav, what's good? How you doing? Thanks for pulling up. You ain't late. You right on time. Trade Ben back to Philly and make Hawk mad. I wouldn't even be mad. Listen, I don't want it to get it twisted. I never hated Ben Simmons. I was always in Ben's corner. I only wasn't rocking with Ben once he just decided I'm not showing up and not playing for this team and demanding a trade. Like, was I frustrated at the fact that he did not go up against an Atlanta, go up against Trae Young for that layup in Atlanta Hawks series? Sure, but I've always loved his game. I've always been a dude that's been like, yo, Ben Simmons is him. I've always said he's got superstar potential. He's at least got all, defensive potential. He's got low key defensive player of the year potential in his career. Like I think Ben has so much potential in this league. I just wish he was more aggressive and tried to score. If Ben was aggressive and looked to score at the basket, teams wouldn't know what to do. All right, we have done 4 teams. We have 11 more to go. Let's move on. All right, next up on the list, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers. I gave them a B+. A couple of reasons, right? So I think the Donovan Mitchell trade was a huge success. If you don't know right now, the Cavs are 5th in the Eastern Conference. They're 28-17. I gave him a B+. The Donovan Mitchell trade was clearly the right move. You can make the argument he's the best shooting guard in the league, and the only other person I'm having the conversation with is Devin Booker. If you're not talking about those two guys, I don't even care who you're saying the best shooting guard is in the league, because I don't want to have the conversation with you, because to me, the conversation is only between those two guys. And yes, I know SGA is killing it right now, and I love what SGA is doing. I'm still giving it to those two guys. I love SGA, and maybe I'll explain this a little bit more when we do the Western Conference stuff. But if you're not saying Devin Booker or Donovan Mitchell for best shooting guard in the league, I really don't want to have a conversation with you. Not to be rude, but to be rude. A couple of just things when I think about the Cavs. The defense is still amazing. Second best defense in the NBA. Offense is waning a little bit. I want to say they're like middle of the pack on offense. I wrote it down for almost every other team. I did not write it down for the Cavs, but I do remember them being around middle of the pack-ish. So there's some things to be desired offensively from this team, but I think that comes from when you got guys like Evan Mobley still developing his game offensively. Jarrett Allen, I love his game. Absolutely amazing center for this team. Like a perfect center for a pick and roll, rim running type of team that wants to just have their big catch a lob or two, get a dump off from a driving guard, get an offensive rebound and put it back up. Absolutely amazing. Like just absolutely amazing. Next up, a surprising team. Now, this is where we're saying I got some teams that are lower in the standings that might have a higher grade than some other teams. I got to give some love to the New York Knicks. I'm giving the Knicks an A-. And I'm going to tell you why I'm giving the Knicks an A-. Because if you remember correctly, when we looked at my standings from last year, I thought the Knicks were going to be a 10 seed. Right now, they're 6. Now, that's not a crazy difference. And you mess around and lose a couple of games, it can go either way. You know what I'm saying? That's just how close the Eastern Conference is. But the way they're playing, I will be honest, I did not have a lot of hope for this Jalen Brunson signing. The mid 3 conversations that we were having in the summer, I was like, I get it. The mid 3 conversations, I completely understood. But what I've seen from Jalen Brunson and how the addition of Jalen Brunson has directly impacted Julius Randle's and RJ Barrett's game, I think what we saw last year, yes, did they underwhelm us, those two guys? Surely, yes, they did. But the addition of a steady point guard to this team has been a night and day difference. Because last year, you got to remember, they spent some time with Kemba Walker at point, D Rose was at point, Alec Burks was at point. No disrespect to any of those guys, but Kemba can't even get a job in the NBA right now. D Rose, I'm always going to show love to him, and Alec Burks, yeah. So adding Jalen Brunson to this team, the way they've turned this season around and started to string some wins together, am I saying the team is better than the teams that I gave a B to? No, I'm not. I'm saying based on my expectations of them that I had for them going into this season, they have well exceeded my expectations so far into this season. So I have to give them an A based off of what my expectations were. That's where I'm going with this. So I get you, Mad X. As soon as I put this there, this is the first thing I seen in the chat. Oh, what the F? We're talking about Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, and you're saying that's better than Sixers, Nets, and Cavs. I'm not saying that team is better. No, I am not saying that team is better. I'm saying based on my expectations that I had going into this season, they are performing way better than I would have expected. They are performing way, way, way better than I would have expected. Like, for example, just continuing the Knicks love, because I was really like, it's a real thing. Not Knicks love, I should say, but let me read. I'm like, why is this? There we go. I can actually read this now. My notes are way too big. Like, so for example, right now the Knicks are 5th in terms of offensive rating. And the previous 2 years, they were 22nd and 23rd. And that's with still 2 years ago, they were 23rd. And that's the year that Julius Randle was an all-star. So, like, I think we're going to see Julius Randle potentially be an all-star again. At least he's playing at least as good as he was when he was an all-star. We'll see if he actually, gets to make the team, if they add him to the team. But the addition of Jalen Brunson, I literally wrote down, unlocked the offensive ability for this team. Shout out to the Knicks, man. Shout out to the Knicks. I don't remember. What did I have the Hawks as? You said you expected the Hawks to be a 4 seed. We had the Hawks at 9. So that's because I was skeptical of Jalen. I was skeptical of DeJounte Murray and Trae Young playing together. And since we're here, let's give my grade for the Hawks. So for me, it's funny, right? I had the Hawks at 9 to end this season. However, it still feels worse than I expected. So it's going to feel a little hypocritical here, and I'm okay with it. I ain't gonna lie to you. You can call me a hypocrite here. I'm okay with that. Because in my expectations and my predictions, I said the Hawks are going to be the 9 seed. They are the 9 seed. So you would think, in theory, I would have them at a solid grade. You're wrong. I gave the Hawks a D, right? For a lot of reasons. Yes, they are the 9 seed. Yes, technically it's only a couple of games back or whatever. But the Hawks are like so not fun to watch, to me at least. It's a lot of my turn, your turn. I don't like, at least so far, DeJounte Murray and Trae Young. I don't like it so far. And a couple of reasons. Just hear me out here. The Hawks are 29th in 3-pointers made and 24th in percentage. For some context, just last year, they were 11th in makes and they were the 2nd best in percentage. They're now the 2nd worst 3-point shooting team in the NBA. A team that has Trae Young and the modern NBA where the goal is literally just basically to shoot as many threes as possible. It's 29th in makes right now. John Collins is shooting a career low from 3. Trae Young is shooting 33% from 3. He was 38% last year. Just the team as a whole is not shooting the ball well. And it's not helping a guy like DeJounte Murray, who I'm not going to say he's a bad shooter, but he's not like, that's not a huge major part of his game. And so he's driving and kicking, and it's John Collins for a brick. The defense isn't. Am I looking at the right team? Because I was just about to say something crazy. The defense honestly isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, I was actually very surprised. They're only 12th in terms of defensive rating. I would have assumed, based off just the Hawks and their personnel, before I looked this up, I would have thought they would have been the 21st ranked defensive team and maybe the 12th ranked offensive team. But it's completely flipped on its head. I don't know what's going on down there in Atlanta. John Collins has been in trade rumors for the past 3 years, and he hasn't gotten traded yet. And to be honest, I don't even know if he's going to get traded this season. So, yeah. The Hawks get a D for me. I see some in the comments asking about Dirty D Lollipop. Now, that's crazy. How you go from Eastern Conference Finals to 9th seed in 2 seasons? I don't know. And also, they miss Kevin Huerter. Like, I know Kevin Huerter is excellent for the Kings. One of the best low-key pickups in the offseason was Kevin Huerter to the Kings. It was like a low-key pickup that was so good. But the Hawks, considering how much they need 3-point shooting right now, which is still crazy to say, a team with Trae Young. Oh, excuse me again. Crazy to say a team with Trae Young needs more 3-point shooting, but they miss Kevin Huerter. Let me pull this up. I seen this. Hawk, I have a question. I know it's all topic. But what would the Lakers look like if they never got Bron or traded for Anthony Davis? Wow. they would honestly, if they never got LeBron and never traded for Anthony Davis, I don't think they'd be that bad. That team would be like probably still or some variation of. They probably would have just kept a lot of those young guys. I'm sure eventually they would have traded somebody or made some sort of move. It is the Lakers, and when you're in that big of a market, and when you're the Lakers, are going to try to make moves to win championships. But it would have been really cool to see what Alonzo, Brandon Ingram, Jordan Clarkson, Julius Randle. I want to say Larry Nance was on that team, but like it was a lot of guys that got traded away over the last couple of years to make room. Kuzma would still be there. It was just a lot of guys who got traded away over the last couple of seasons to try to make the Lakers a championship team. And I mean, they won one. People can talk all the smack in the world they won about the Lakers. Did they make some mistakes along the way, especially that Westbrook trade? Even though that's my guy, it was definitely a mistake, and I feel like we all got to acknowledge that. We all know it was a mistake. But people have especially now, it's easy to look back and be like, oh, the Lakers, what are they, the 11 seed right now, 10, 11 seed right now? I don't know off the top of my head. What would have been like if they kept, whatever. And you can have that conversation almost on any given night. If Julius Randle has a big night or Clarkson goes crazy or when Lonzo was playing last year, was having a good game, BI, stuff like that. You can have those conversations whenever one of those guys have a good night, especially if the Lakers lose the night before. That tweet gonna go crazy if you tweet that. You feel me? But what people say all the time is this. I don't always agree with it, but people tell me all the time that the only reason that you play in the NBA is to win championships. And the Lakers made some moves and they won a championship in 2020. Would we have liked them to win more? Sure. But it's also not. I think we just have gotten used to teams repeating and going to the finals over and over and over again. That stuff not normal. It really ain't. Like, it's just, that's just how good some of these teams that we've seen in recent history have been. But a team going to the finals 4 times in a row ain't normal. Like, that just don't be happening. I think we've gotten used to it, seeing the LeBron-led team in the playoffs, because I want to say he was, the finals 8 years in a row, I think was the record when he was in the Eastern Conference. So, like, we got used to seeing it, but it's really not normal. We just got used to seeing it. So, that's my quick thoughts on what the Lakers will look like. Westbrook has been looking amazing this season. I think he's West Splash is the 6th man of the year. I think he's in a conversation for 6th man of the year. The only reason I'm hesitant to automatically give him 6th man of the year is because I got to look and see the history, but I don't know that many 6th man of the years that were awarded to, I don't want to use the phrase losing teams, because I want to say the Lakers are at 500 or around 500, but I feel like the Lakers got to at least be like a 6 seed for Russ to get consideration for 6th man of the year. Like, he'll get consideration, but for him to actually win it, I think they need like a 6 seed. I just don't know if they would give it to him, considering how bad the Lakers are. I'm going to say that in air quotes. All right, back to the tier list. So we just did the Hawks. The Heat were tough for me, right? So let's do the Heat next. The Heat were tough for me. We talked about them at the top of the stream a little bit ago. Expectations at the time for me were, what do we write here? I had them third in the Eastern Conference. I still feel like that don't feel right, but I had them third, so we gonna rock with it. That's what's there. That's what's on record. You have a Russ and KD autographed game ball? That's fire. That's fire. Wow. I would kill for, not kill obviously, but that's dope. So the Heat for me are a conundrum, because going into the season, like we said, we knew they weren't going to have any offense. We knew offense was going to be their biggest struggle, but we also knew they were going to be able to hang their hat on the defensive side of the ball. So right now the Heat are 7th in the Eastern Conference. They're 24-21, basically right behind the Knicks, right behind the Cavs. They're in the mix, right? the East Conference is so close with some of these standings. You literally go on like a 3-game win streak, and you can move up 3 standings. But to my point, if the Heat don't have offense, they're 25th in terms of offensive rating in the NBA. They're 5th in defensive rating in the NBA. So they can't score, but they're going to lock you up. They don't have enough offensive weapons. I think a lot of Heat fans were hopeful that Victor Oladipo would be an answer for a lot of them, especially off the bench. Not turning out to look like that. I know he's been in and out of lineup with some injuries. This team definitely would have benefited from making a big swing, like going after Donovan Mitchell, DeJounte Murray, Jalen Brunson. There were some dynamic guards on various levels, for all the way from Donovan to Brunson. I'm not saying they're all on the same tier, but there were like dynamic scoring guards available last summer. And obviously I don't know all the ins and outs, whatever. Everything obviously doesn't get reported, but just to me, at least, I don't feel like they made a good enough push for some of these guys. I feel like they desperately needed to get somebody. I know Tyler Hero's still there, but I mean, I want to say he's at like 20, 21 a game right now, maybe. It's just not enough offense. And while I just said it's not enough offense, we did all that, this, that, and the third, and talked about him. The defense is still really good. That's the thing that's crazy about the Miami Heat. The defense is still really, really good. When Jimmy Butler wants to be, he can mess around with like a top 5 player in the NBA. Bam looks like a top 3 center in the NBA from time to time. So it's like the Heat, and I think maybe that's why I'm so hard on the Heat, because they got the cornerstones. They got a guy who can turn into a superstar in the playoffs in Jimmy Butler, and they have one of the best centers and one of the best defensive anchors in the league in Bam Adebayo. You already have your 6-man flamethrower in Tyler Hero. Y'all just needed to put a slightly better team around them, and they failed to do that. But all that being said, because the East is so close and they are still playing amazing defense, I gave the Heat a B-. So I'm gonna put them towards like the end of the B column. I want to disrespect them and give them a C. A B felt nice to me. Mav, can you ban Nav for being a catcher? What is he saying? What did Nav say? What is Nav talking about here? Y'all talking about Russ still? Let me see. All right. So the 50 mil was earned. Nav said it was a bad contract. Let's talk about that real quick, because it's funny. I was watching Through the Wire. I'm sure we all know what Through the Wire is. Great NBA podcast with Kenny, Pierre, Derek, and Mike. Really great. Something's all in my eyes. Excuse me. Really great podcast. And they were talking about, real quick, they were talking about Russ. The idea of, was his contract the overpay? I'm not gonna lie to you. When Russ signed that contract, when he signed that and got that bread, he was worth the money. As crazy as it sounds, when he signed that contract, he was worth the money. Because he was still and had the ability to be a one-man offense. And honestly, I don't know if he still has it in the tank. He probably could, but at least last year, I truly think if he was on a different team, you would have saw the same Russ. It's just he was on a new team with a dynamic that I don't think he's ever played with in his life, or at least hasn't played with a dynamic like that, or had to play with a dynamic like that. OKC with KD, like, it is no even disrespect to the PG days, but he still played amazing alongside PG, because I think it was mainly just them two. I know Melo was there for that first year of that experiment, but we're not gonna talk about Melo. But Rush just don't fit on the Lakers. It's other situations that he probably would thrive in, and when that contract was signed, to me at least, it wasn't a bad contract to me. I mean, the point was for a big three, but you got to remember, the Lakers ain't the ones who gave him that contract. The Lakers just traded for him. So you can't blame him for his contract when the Lakers traded for him. He ain't have no decision making. And I mean, I'm sure he probably was like, I mean, I'm cool going to LA, but it wasn't like it was really his choice to go to LA. That's what I'm saying. He hit a little game and through the wire. You feel me? Oh, Huey O'Brien. That's a name I feel like I haven't seen before, or well, I've seen it before. I just haven't seen it in a while. Thanks for pulling up to the stream. First off, how do I feel about the GOAT debate shifting towards LeBron because of his stats at 38? Personally, I still think it's MJ. I'm here on the GOAT debate. Like, to me personally, I still think it's MJ. But I could easily come up with an argument that for like a 15-minute straight argument of why it should be LeBron James. LeBron has a legitimate argument. I think it's, to me at least, truthfully to me, right now, it's just to the point of a matter of which style of play do you prefer? Do you prefer maybe like a longevity peak versus a height peak? Even though the height difference to me ain't really that crazy. If you're a guy who or girl, I guess, but a person who really likes championships, that's a thing too. But for me, it ain't. I don't lose sleep over it. I'll say that. I definitely do not lose sleep over the GOAT debate. But it's either way. I'm not. I don't talk nobody down from their GOAT pick. Either way, that's just me though. All right. Top two and not two. I'm not mad at that. What are we saying about Westbrook right now? See, the thing is, to me, saying he isn't worth it doesn't, at least to me, mean anything. Because to me, at the time of signing, he was worth it. And to me, honestly, if he was still on, because you also got to remember, he carried that Washington Wizards team and made them a playoff team because Bradley Beal was out for a little bit. And when the Wizards were losing, Russ, I want to say it was around December, January, just backpacked that whole team and almost single-handedly, I mean, they were a playoff team, but I'm saying almost he was the reason that they made it to the play-in by himself. So if he was still on the Wizards, they didn't make that trade, truthfully, we might be looking at the Wizards a little bit differently. I'm so serious. Russ is top 10. He's top 10 point guard of all time, even higher than 10 for Maddox. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at, oh, excuse me. I'm not mad at that at all. Westbrook is at 10 in your opinion. Range is saying, not mad at that. I was friends with Westbrook, top 10 pinkies for the top two, not two. I got you. This is perfect from real to bomb. The GOAT debate is low-key become like Messi or Ronaldo, right? It comes down to personal preference and play style. It comes down to personal preference and play style preference. Personally, I got CR7 because I'm Portuguese. I feel like CR7 is a reference to Ronaldo or Messi, and that went over my head. I'm not gonna lie to you, it surely did. But the rest of the comment makes perfect sense to me. Cause yeah, depending on who you talk to, somebody gonna say Messi to go, somebody gonna say Ronaldo to go. They both have an argument. All right, Range. Thank you for this comment. You got us back on track. Back to the tier list because we haven't finished it yet. Nav says, CR7 is Ronaldo. That's what I said. It's probably a soccer reference that I just didn't get. I figured. Oh, Cristiano is CR. Is that Cristiano? And then 7. I'm assuming is his number. So CR7. That's kind of fire. Kinda. I don't know. I don't keep up with football. I ain't gonna lie to you. Nav says he has MJ. I just want to read this real quick. We're all over the place, so I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. The ADHD be hitting sometimes. I have Magic. I have MJ, LeBron, Kareem, Bill Russell, Magic, Larry, Tim, Kobe, Shaq, Hakeem, Curry, Durant. I'm not mad at it. Most people's top tens I really don't be mad at. I truly I don't be mad at most people's top tens. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Nah, range, we have not finished it. We listen. You know we be getting distracted, range. I like to interact with the chat. If I just flew through this and didn't see the comments and didn't talk to y'all, what's the point of this being a stream? You feel me? So the stream always has a background structure that we're gonna try to stick to. But it can go left or right along the way. Nah, this is crazy. Can we see the jump shot yet? Shit. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem, Magic, Tim, Larry. Wait, Magic, MJ, Bron, Kareem, Magic, Tim, Larry, Bill, Kobe, Shaq, Steph, Hakeem, Wilt. Huh. I do know about the Deep Three podcasts. I tune in from time to time. I gotta like watch them more, but I do know of them. Yeah. The Deep Three, is that good? Because I watch Through the Wire religiously. I'm gonna have to pay attention to Deep Three more. If I fly to you, would you 1v1 me? That is crazy. I struggle with top tens because I struggle with top tens because I want to pay homage to the OGs, but I be struggling with which OGs to put in the top 10 and which not, because I'm just gonna leave it at that because I don't want to be disrespectful today. I don't want to be disrespectful to no OGs, so I'm gonna leave it at that. We're gonna do the next team because we still got mad teams left on this list. Why? Why are you like this, bro? Why are you like this? Why? Just why? All right. Serious faces. We just did the Hawks. We finished the Heat. Let's do the Pacers. Indiana Pacers, I feel like it's a no-brainer. A+. Technically, I have them as an A-, but A, because I had them at 15th in the Eastern Conference. I thought they was going to be one of the worst teams in the league. I'm not even going to lie to you. Because for a lot of reasons, various reasons, day one completely surprised me is what I wrote down. 2, I expected the roster to look completely different by now. I just knew Buddy Hield and Miles Turner were not going to be on this team this late into the season. At this rate, oh, hold on, camera froze. Boom. Oh, there we go. How about there we go. I just knew. I gotta stop looking at the comments so I can get through this. I just knew Buddy Hield and Miles Turner were not going to be here by the end of it, by this late into the season. But I mean, the Pacers they start out the season hot, surprising a lot of people. I think they're going to settle out to be a low-key middle of the pack team, but I think they're going to be a playoff lock. I'd be surprised if they don't make it, truthfully. They're 8th in the East right now, 23 and 22. When you look at their offensive, defensive rating, stuff like that, the offensive rating's kind of middle of the pack. Defensive rating is 21st in the league. We ain't going to talk about that. But Tyrese has been a great addition for this team. I really do think Tyrese Halliburton truly, I don't want to say unlocked, because I just said the same thing for Jalen Brunson, but the level of play that we're seeing from Miles Turner this year, I think it could be attributed to 2 things. 1, he actually gets to play center, no longer has to be forced to play power forward, playing alongside Sabonis. And 2, he has an absolutely amazing playmaker, dishing him the ball, because Halliburton, and I think rightfully so, is already getting like the young point guard nods. Like, he was going on that stretch where it was like double digit assists for like 4 games in a row with no turnovers. Like, that's like some elite point guard stuff right there. And it's really good to see him develop that this early in his career already. Um, who said fire from a, what's your top 12? Mega is gonna get fired soon. Fired for a job I wasn't getting paid for. Hey, Mega just do this out of love. So you gotta let the others. We said this last week. We let Mega's comments fly because the stream and the Discord wouldn't look and operate as well as it does without him. So sometimes you just gotta let the comments fly. You just we just let some of them rock. You feel me? Chicago Bulls. So the Bulls, the Bulls. The Bulls honestly are a team that I want them to just blow it up. We talked about this last week. I'm not going to go into crazy depth about the Bulls because it was the last week or the week before. I want them to just blow it up. I saw a report from Woj? Shams? Maybe Shams, that teams are like interested, and there's a rumor swirling that not all the, it wasn't Shams. It was on NBA Central, and the source was low-key some dude I don't recognize at all. So I'm taking it with a grain of salt, but the concept is still a concept that I'm 100% behind. If we look up and by the trade deadline, either Zach, DeMar, or Vooch, somebody, one of them three ain't on this team, I will not be mad. I will actually be happy. For all that, I'm gonna give the Bulls a C. Two things can be true for me, and this is why I'm giving the Bulls a C. If Lonzo was there, would this team be better? Yes. If Lonzo was there, would they be as good as I think they would like to be, considering all the moves they've made to get themselves to this point? No. But they wouldn't be the 10th seed either. So two things can be true. They would be significantly better with Lonzo, but they also would not be anywhere close to like title contenders. So I'm giving them a C. What would the Bulls blowing it up look like? To me, full on tank. Like I'm talking, I want to say Vooch is a free agent this summer, so get something back for him. I know Levine just signed that extension, but if somebody wants him, take him. DeMar, I would trade him as well. So for me, the main two trades I would make would be DeMar and Vooch. If you can keep Zach, I would, only because you just have him under contract, and I think he has a bright future. But if you do keep Zach, you have to immediately retool. And I don't know if a retooling is going to fix what's going on here, or is it just going to be a different mess, a different ugly mess. Y'all in here still talking about, I see all these conversations about top 5, top 4. Having Kobe 4 is wild. You're saying it's too high or too low? You're saying it's Kobe's top 7. Kobe top 5 is crazy, but top 10 is a must. Jordan said Kobe is one of the only players that could beat him because he'd copy all his moves. Does somebody not have Kobe in their top 10? Is that why y'all are having a Kobe easily top 8? Name 10 players better than Kobe. Huh. Kobe's not top 10 from Huey? Huey O'Brien, Kobe not top 10? I can't give you Kobe not top 10. I can't give you Kobe not. I get it. I understand that so many, there was this, I feel like there was almost this movement that was going on around an NBA discourse, probably like, what is it, 2013, 2023 now? Maybe like towards the tail end of Kobe's career. So maybe like 2015, 2014, 2016, somewhere around there. There was this discourse of, and the reason I think it's got to be crazy to say Kobe's not top 10 is because this is why. Forget what I was about to say about the disc, because this is what the discourse was. The conversation initially, right? Jordan was the GOAT. Let's do this. Jordan was the GOAT. Kobe comes along, three-peats with Shaq, back-to-back with Powell. And the only other comparison that we ever had to MJ for real, since MJ, was when Kobe came around. So now everybody's comparing Kobe and MJ. So if everybody's comparing Kobe and MJ, I mean everybody, ESPN, Bleacher Report, everybody at the barbershop. If everybody's comparing those two, if you're getting compared to the GOAT on a consistent basis, people are legitimately having arguments and conversation on who is better, to me, very overrated is crazy, Huey. He's got to be top 10. If you compare to the GOAT that much, he's got to be top 10. What I was saying is about this couple of years ago thing, the last years of his career, the conversation shifted from comparing Kobe to MJ to comparing LeBron to MJ. I think there was a consensus that LeBron had surpassed Kobe in terms of GOAT conversations. And I think in the process of LeBron over, in most people's mind, if you don't have it that way, that's, whatever. But, and I think in the process of LeBron passing Kobe in the GOAT conversation, I think a lot of people didn't take that as just LeBron passing Kobe, but somehow also Kobe getting plucked out of the GOAT conversation and slid way down, way out of it. I don't really know when that happened exactly or how that happened exactly, but that's kind of what I saw. So I get Huey saying that. I disagree, obviously. Kobe is definitely top 10. But I think that just, I don't know, is somewhere in the process of LeBron catching up to Jordan, I feel like the whole world just forgot about Kobe and just said he's not him. I don't know. You don't get the name the Black Mamba for nothing. People don't yell Kobe when they crumble up a piece of paper and throw it in the trash for not, like, I don't know. No, we're not giving Huey a timeout. We all can have, that's the premise of the show, the premise of all the content that I put out is to have conversations with people about the NBA, about hoops. The thing is, the shirt, I don't got it on, but the shirts be saying, let's talk hoops. I love talking hoops with people. Sometimes I just disagree, and that's cool. That's cool. That's cool with me. No hate, Huey, from me. You ain't got, I don't know about the rest of these dudes in the chat. Ignore them, but you ain't getting no hate from me. I disagree, respectfully. I just, you know what I'm saying? I just disagree. Nah, no timeout for Huey, nothing like that. I just disagree respectfully. All right, next up on the tier list, we just did the Bulls. I gave the Raptors a C-. I'm not gonna lie, I flirted with a D for the Raptors for a while. I think the Hawks low-key might be the only team. No, Hawks are not the only team that have a D. I gave the Raptors a C-. On paper, it's funny. So the Raptors are 11th in the Eastern Conference. They're 20-25. They have the 13th best offensive rating, the 19th best defense. They're a horrible three-point shooting team. OG is in trade rumors every week. Half the Discord once Fred VanVleet traded. And I'll be honest with you, when I feel bamboozled a little bit because when I watch the Raptors, there are a lot of moments where I'm like, yo, this switchability, rangy defense really do be working. But for y'all to be 19th, a bottom half defensive team, clearly there's some things missing about this defense. And one of the things to me personally I think is missing is that interior presence that I keep talking about. Y'all need a center. Go trade for Jakob Poeltl. I don't know if he's going to solve all your issues, but it's a start. I wouldn't be mad. I don't think Fred, to be honest with you, at this point, I don't think Fred VanVleet, as much as I love his game, Mega VR has been saying this in the Discord to me for like a month now that Fred VanVleet needs to be traded. And I was like, well, he's not. His shot's not falling. The ball's not as in his hands as much. I watched his JJ Redick interview and I was like, I get it. Like, I was feeling bad for him. Not feeling bad, but I get it. I just don't think Fred's the point guard. This team needs a playmaker. And I like Fred, but he ain't one. Their half-court offense is very stagnant. The half-court offense is ugly. Their offense is, we're going to force you into a turnover and get out on a break and run. It's not great. I feel like I was lied to a little bit defensively for them. The Wizards, I gave a D-. No, just a D. I'm sorry. They're 23rd in offensive rating. They're 15th in defensive rating, 25th in net rating. They did just re-sign Bradley Beal. I like the Kuzma pickup from the Rush trade. I like what I saw from him last year. I liked the Porzingis trade even. I thought that would be a good fit. I liked what I saw from him during the end of last season. So I'm not going to say I had crazy high expectations for the Wizards, but I thought they would be a little bit better than they are. They look absolutely horrible. And now they're in this weird spot that this team could look drastically different come, maybe not drastically, but slightly different come the offseason. I don't know if it's going to happen by trade deadline, but between all the guys that have to get paid, between like Rui is up for an extension potentially, Kuzma wants to get his bag. They don't have the money to pay all these people without being in luxury tax. They're way too bad of a team to end up in a luxury tax. They have a roster that's built to try to make the playoffs, and there's no way they're making the playoffs. You get a D for me. Nah, Huey is broken. His Hawks jumper is crazy. Why are y'all talking about one-on-ones in here? What is going on? Sauce anybody a one-on-one? What is going on? Y'all is crazy because he said shut up. He deserves this time. Yo, y'all is crazy. Y'all is crazy in here. Take on what the Heat should do in the deadline. Pray. Honestly, I don't think. Let me finish this up and we'll talk some trade stuff before we head up out of here. We've been live for an hour and 17. Cutting this up is going to be horrible because we be all over the place. So if you rewatch Gang and rewatch the whole thing, you a real one. That's why I try to click the comments so you can keep up with the conversation because we be all over the place. All right. So, who's left? I gave the Pistons a B. Couple of reasons. They are a young team that is trying to be bad and doing an excellent job of being bad. They're the second worst team in the Eastern Conference. And it's funny because I gave the Hornets a C for being the worst team in the Eastern Conference, but they're two bad teams that I feel completely different about. On the Pistons side of things, it's unfortunate that Cade Cunningham is injured and out for the rest of the season, but it gives guys like, I had to write them down because I always mess their names up. But I like what I'm seeing from Jaden Ivey, Jalen Durian, Killian Hayes. They're getting time to develop. It's not always pretty, I'll be honest with you. But there are some moments where I'm like, okay, this team is developing. They're going to get Cade back. He's going to be the engine that kind of keeps this offense together. I'm honestly a little optimistic to see what they're going to do. I'm very curious to see what they do in the draft. They're going to have a high pick because they're trash, but it's one of the teams that are trash and that I'm optimistic about, right? Now, on the other hand, I gave the Hornets, who have even worse record than the Pistons, only slightly, but a little bit worse. I gave them a C because they're a bad team that I don't feel as good about. The injury bug has torn this team apart. LaMelo Ball, he's been back since mid-December. He missed basically the beginning of the season. Gordon Hayward's been in and out of the lineup all season long. He's currently out. Miles Bridges, still don't know what's going to him. To be honest, me and my boys was talking about that on Xbox the other day. It was like, yo, is he available for another team to pick up? Like, truly have no idea what's going on with him. Terry Rozier is kind of sort of on the trade block, but he has 3 years on his deal left. Also, Gordon Hayward's feels like almost like a dead contract considering he's a free agent in the summer of 2024. I don't think you can trade him, to be honest with you, because of his injury history. He played in the last 2 seasons. He's played 44 and 49 games respectively. He's played 21 out of 42 possible games this season. He can't stay healthy and stay on the floor. And the reason I have them in the C is because I'm not going to say I had crazy high expectations for the Hornets. I had him at 13th in the Eastern Conference. But it's just what I'm seeing and how they're performing is horrible. And believe it or not, the Magic, another team that is towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference, 13th in the East, I'm giving them a B only because this is probably, to me, the Magic are the brightest. The Magic and the Thunder are the brightest young team, or some of the brightest young developing teams in the league. I really like the Magic are building and what they have. I like the young pieces they have. I love what I'm seeing out of Markelle Fultz. Say it's a Sixers fan in me. That's okay. And I think they have, especially in that front court, they have a lot of young guys that honestly they can maybe move a piece here or there to try to fill out some of the roster in other ways as they continue to develop their young guys. So this is the full grades. Some of them I like, some I'm a little iffy on. Some teams I feel like it could have been harder on. I gave a lot of teams a B, obviously, but I feel like a lot of teams are meeting my expectations of them. If you ain't meeting my expectations, you got a lower grade. And if you exceeded my expectations, you got a higher grade. But once again, these grades weren't based on the standings, because you see the Magic is up here, you see the Pistons are up there, but you also see, I guess I don't really have a good team crazy low. But yeah, not necessarily based on the standings, basically just based on what my expectations were going into the season versus where they are now. Honestly, it really just gave me an opportunity to talk about every team in the conference and hang out with y'all. All right, let's see what these comments is talking about before. Take a last look at that before we get it off the screen, and let's see what these comments is talking about. I see a hashtag pay mega going around. What are we paying mega with? What are we paying mega with? Huh? What is this pay mega? Pay mega. What? With what? Pay mega with what? With what bread is mega getting paid with? He's scared to address it. I'm not scared to address it. Mega, if you Mega, I'm gonna tell you this on stream, Mega. You stick around long enough where content creation makes something for me, I got you. But content creation ain't making nothing for me right now. So we making content for the love of the game. You feel me? For the love of the game. So when we get to the promised land, I got you. Well, we not there yet. You feel me? So revisit when we there. We'll readdress that when we're there. Paying with Bitcoin is crazy. I mean, I can do 10 pesos a month, probably. 13 an hour? An hour? An hour? Nah, that's crazy. Hawk doesn't address Mega, then he hates Joel Embiid. Dockery? Dockery? Drake. Not Dockery. There are very few things on stream that made me look older than really not being able to pronounce somebody's username on YouTube. Like, it's not being able to pronounce somebody's username. It's such a boomer thing. It is what it is. As a Suns fans, we don't deserve above or C without Devin Booker. Listen, the Suns we're on the Western Conference next week. Dockery. You gonna have to spell that out phonetically in the chat. We're gonna do Western Conference next week because I know how we be doing when we do a tier list. This would be a 3-hour stream if we did both conferences at once, because I might have more thoughts on the Western Conference than I do on the East, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't started that grading for that conference yet, but we'll do that next week. The Suns got a lot to figure out, though. I'll say that. The Suns have a lot to figure it out. Sweatshops are illegal. Daiquiri like to drink? I have rights is crazy. We gonna get there, Huey. I appreciate that. I appreciate this. I wish you made money. You're one of my favorite creators. I do appreciate that. We will one day. And for now, we just love of the game. I do truly enjoy making content and talking basketball with y'all. So for now, it's just the love of the game. That's all right with me. It would. I can't grow one. This is it. This is all I got. I'm be 30 next year, and this is all I got. Nah, this is crazy. All right, Matt X. West right now sounds good. It would. I don't have the notes. I just don't. I don't have the notes for it. I don't want to shortchange y'all. Like for the Eastern Conference, like as you see, y'all know how we do. Like we had the notes. I had all the teams ready that I wanted to go over. Like we had everything I spoke about. I had written down. I had thought about. I even got the screenshots of what we did in the past. So I don't want to shortchange y'all and not do it right. So we're gonna do that right next week, and I'll have the Western Conference ready for you. I did see a question. We be chilling. I'm down to the West. Y'all is crazy. Y'all be dang. Now y'all got me feeling bad because I was like, there's no way they gonna want to hang around for 3 hours. There is a couple of other things I wanted to talk about. We are gonna unfortunately have to do the West next week simply because it's not prepared. It's really not. It's just not prepared. Hey, I'll take that. I appreciate that. One thing we can talk about the Western Conference since we are here, because I'm very curious to see, and I didn't get a chance to look at it before. How do I? What did I do last time? I hit open and nope, open and keep, open and keep, open and keep, save the keep, right? And then we can boom. Is it open? Open? No, 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 no. Here we go. I wanted to pull up since we are talking about Western Conference, everybody wants to talk about them for a second. That's fine by me. I don't have the grades. I'm going to keep it a B. But we can look at how bad some of these Western Conference stuff was. It was bad. I did see something I did want to, seen a question I did want to answer. I got to find it. It was from Hawk. Prime Russ versus Prime Steph, 1v1. At a 1v1. Honestly, I think I'm going to take Russ. I think the thought process is this. There's no way Steph can defend Russ in his prime. There's like simply no way. I feel like Russ could just blow by him on almost every possession. But in the same breath, Steph in his prime, I'm not going to say Russ can guard him, but I think Russ in his prime can guard Steph better than Steph in his prime could guard Russ. But also Steph is going to dribble like crazy and hit probably some of the craziest threes we've ever seen. I would pick Russ. You can call it some bias. But I mean, if Steph's just hitting his threes, the game's going to be over very fast. I'd pick Russ, but I'm not mad at either or. That's what I'm saying. He is bigger and stronger and better defensively, but also threes over twos. So if the game, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a lot that could go into that. That's tough. That is tough. That's tough. Pay Mega with child support is child support. These are crazy allegations for slaves. Now I can't pay the child support. No wonder you can't get paid. Nah, this is crazy. That is crazy. Wait a minute. Steph isn't guarding Russ. Russ racking up frequent fire points each possession. I mean, in theory, the theory makes sense. We've seen some of the best defenders try to guard Steph one-on-one, and they still can struggle. Like, we don't see Steph often take people off the dribble because the Warriors' offense is such a well-oiled machine. But it's not like Steph can't. So it's like, low key, this is how I feel. This is how I feel. Whoever get the ball first is winning the game. Because if it's make it take it, Steph might not miss a shot. And if Russ get the ball first, he's dunking every possession. So like whoever, that's truly how I feel. Whoever get the ball first, that's who's winning the game. What is y'all talking about? I see somebody say Tatum's not top 5 currently. Tatum isn't even top 5 right now. I'm trying to figure out what made Daiquiri say that, though. Tatum has the potential to be top 7 all time. That's tough. That's tough. I'm not even, to be honest with you, I'm not even entertaining. Personally, for me, I'm not even entertaining like current young guys could be X and all-time rankings when it's all said and done, because there's just so many variables and stuff that goes into that. Like, I mean, I'm seeing the conversation Luka could finish his career, as one of the GOATs. I mean, technically, I guess he could. There are a lot of guys who could finish as a GOAT. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna let it play out and see what happens. All right. Oh, y'all talking MVP. Is that how to start? Luka winning MVP on God. 1 seed and Tatum is the best player. MVP, fight me. I don't know who out it. That's how I feel, Range. Like, until all these, and just see the back payment, child support. Until a lot of these guys get into the conversations of like winning a ring and something like that, that's when I'll be able to have. And you got to win a couple of rings, because if you're talking GOAT, like, we're talking 4+ rings to get in this conversation. Like, at least that's just to get into the conversation. To get to the front of the conversation, you gotta get a couple more than that, probably. But yeah, that's just how I feel about the GOAT debate. But y'all also know the GOAT debate, I say this almost every week, it's not something I really go in depth on. I like hearing people's arguments sometimes and stuff, because I'll be like, that's an interesting take, but it is what it is for me. Gamer Bro 56, what's good, bro? Thanks for pulling up. How you doing today? Nah, what's your salary is crazy. We'll work out some child support and everything. Where's my? When Russ retires, all the haters are gonna be acting like they loved him. It's gonna be so funny. This is, what's gonna be crazy? Dang, am I gonna be the Harden fans when Russ retires? That's nasty. I might be a Harden fan when Russ retires. Nah, because y'all remember how when Luka had his, what was it, 60-20 triple double? All the Harden fans on Twitter was like, Harden was doing this. He ain't never get no love. Harden been doing this. Y'all ain't love Harden like this. Y'all ain't love Harden. Well, first off, we did love Harden. But it's gonna be crazy if something happens, like if somebody like breaks Russ's triple double record one day. Am I going to be the Harden fan like y'all never loved Russ? That's nasty. I hope I'm not. Keep me accountable if I am. 5 years from now or whatever, if y'all still around, if I'm still doing this, keep me accountable. But gosh, I hope I'm not. Because them Harden fans was getting on my nerves that week. Golly. Act like nobody. How you gonna say somebody ain't getting no love and they win an MVP? How did that even work? Nah, because that's really how I be hearing people on Twitter in my head, bro. People on Twitter in my head, they just be like, Twitter is my favorite app on my phone, but it's also my least favorite because I'll see the dumbest takes on Twitter. Y'all be thinking TikTok will have some dumb takes. No, Twitter has the worst takes. Actually, NBA Instagram might have the worst takes. Hey, Daniel, what's good? Thanks for pulling up to the stream. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. I'll be that guy saying y'all never loved Russ because y'all did not accept you, Rich. I've always loved Russ. You can't say I ain't never loved Russ. I always love Russ. I am scared of the allegations. Current Tatum or prime Melo? That's in a 1v1 game, or who's the better player? That's tough because I think with Tatum entering his prime now, prime Melo had some longevity to it. Prime Tatum, to me, playing at the level he's playing, we've only really seen like a year and a half, truthfully, a year and a half of. The Tatum we're seeing now is not the same Tatum we saw 3 years ago. Defensively is better, offensively is better. He's a slightly better playmaker. He's a better shot creator. So if I got to pick, I'm still going to say prime Melo because Melo's prime was over a couple of seasons. The current Tatum we've only really seen for a little bit, at least as of right now. Other than Malone is insane. Russ is legit the most hated player of all time, in my opinion. I don't think Russ is. I don't think Russ is hated. Russ is only hated now because he's a Laker. And he was on the team with LeBron, and LeBron has such a huge fan base. So, in Russ's first year with the Lakers, when he was immediately playing horrible, he was getting hate. You know what I'm saying? But now, if he was never a Laker, I don't think Russ is hated. I think some people might call him overrated. Some people, I think, got tired of the triple doubles and no longer really felt like they were that valuable. Sure. Some people were calling him stat padding, whatever, but I don't think he was hated until he became a Laker. Some people might have thought he was overrated or didn't like his game as much or didn't think his game led to winning, which you can make the argument for. He never won a championship, sure. But I don't think he was hated till he became a Laker. Scroll up a little. He said, Hawk is afraid of my last hashtag. Somebody said that's gotta. Hold on. What was the last hat? Nah, that's crazy. This is wild, Mega. Hey, you already said it right here. That's gotta be racist. Now what did they say now? Instead of saying that, they were like, that's gotta be motivated. That's gotta be motivated. I seen that the other day and was dead because they didn't want to say racist. So they said that's gotta be motivated. I was dying. All right. Let's talk. I know we're all over the place. I'm just talking to the chat. We just vibing for the moment. I wanted to do two things real quick. I said I was going to show y'all as a sneak peek for next week. This is what my Western Conference predictions were leading back in October. This is what I thought the Western Conference was going to look like. A couple of things sticking out to me. I had way too much faith in the Clippers. Way too much faith in the Clippers. Also had way too much faith in the Timberwolves, which still blows my mind because I remember saying I didn't think the Timberwolves were going to be that good because I had little faith in the Rudy Cat duo. Don't know why they're this high because I remember doing almost a full episode, a full stream, basically saying I did not like this pairing and didn't think it was going to go well. I got to put some respect on the Kings. I had them at 11 outside of the play-in. My fault, Sacramento. That's on me. I liked that I had the Pelicans a 6 seed. They did surprise me and they're moving a little bit higher. But in the grand scheme of things, I probably could have had them higher if I didn't have a team like the Clippers this high. The Suns, now, although the Suns look bad now, them being the 4 seed ain't crazy. They just look horrible because they're dealing with so many injuries. And then the Jazz surprised everybody earlier. The Lakers is kind of where I thought they were going to be. And honestly, the Mavericks might be where I low key around there right now. The Mavericks right now are the 5 seed. I had them at the 8 seed. Okay, so maybe not as good. The West, I'm really looking forward to doing because the West, I was not as good as I thought I was going to be. Mad X, appreciate you for pulling up. Have a good night, bro. I'm happy you enjoyed the stream. Cam, what's good, my boy? I feel like I ain't seen you in a minute. How you doing? That's actually hilarious that you pulled up now and your name was the name that was on the screenshot, but I just grabbed it from the stream. I got to check the Discord poll and announcements. I told Hawk to start the season that the Thunder would be in the play-in. Yo, the Thunder, the craziest part about the Thunder, so the Thunder right now, I know we're not focused on the Western Conference, but we talk a hoop, so let's talk. The Thunder are the 10 seed right now. They're right. I mean, they're not a shoe-in for the play-in, but as of right now, they might be a play-in. Like the Thunder are the 10 seed. The Trailblazers have the same record as them, and they're the 11 seed. The Suns are a half game behind them. They're the 12 seed. The Lakers are only 1 game behind them. They're the 13th seed. So they don't have a lock on the play-in. And I actually think the next couple of months, the second half of the season can be very, very interesting in the Western Conference for some of these play-in spots because some of these teams are so close. Like it really might come down to we have the same record I just won the tiebreaker for some of these last play-in spots. But it's crazy to think that the Thunder could be a play-in team. Considering, I think going into the season, especially once we all found out that Chet was going to be out, we were like, yo, this team is not going to be that great. But they're it. Part of it is Shea. Giddey's gotten better. Just the team as a whole is just, they fight. They have fight in them. I think when I watch the Thunder, they're past like we're just young and learning phase. Yes, they're still young. Yes, they still learning. But now it's like we're the young and learning, but we know we belong on this NBA court. Like we know we can win any game. Like they play like with the thought and with the ideals that, and on any given night, the Thunder can win this game. Like that's how they play. And I don't think they've played like that. Don't think I know. I didn't see it. They didn't play like that in the last couple of seasons, but they're playing like that now. Like they beat the Celtics, they beat the Sixers, and they beat the Nets all this season. Like all this calendar year. Actually, I want to say the Celtics game was in January. They beat the Sixers like 2 weeks ago, and they beat the Nets last week. So it's shout out to the Thunder for real, for real. All right. Giddey is aggressive now. Yes, that's been a big piece of it as well. It's been a while. Happy to be back. Talk to, hey man, happy to see you here. Hope you've been well, my guy. About to be the 9 seed. Oh, yes, I'm saying y'all only have game. Like it's crazy how, not crazy, I guess, because I mean the talent is there. I see why they're in the mix. It's just dope. That's all to me. It's just really, really dope to me. VR said I got to check the Discord, so I'm pulling this up right now. There's a poll and announcements on the Discord. Let's see. Nah, this is crazy. Petition for the pink sweatshirt to be Hawks look from now on. Yes and no. I'm gonna guess no. I'm gonna vote no. Cosmic Sounds, and who else? Who was the other one that said it? Cosmic Sounds. Oh, and Range, of course. All right. Nah, this is crazy. Hey Hawk, Rage says you better watch out for the Hawks, Raptors, and Heat during the trade deadline. They're a couple of players away from being contenders. How can I politely say I disagree? I think they're, so this is my thoughts. I do think, and I actually have some of them written down because I wanted to talk about some trade stuff. Trade deadline, if you don't know, is February 9th. That's 3 or 4 weeks from now, right before All-Star break. I'll be honest, I don't expect anything big. I don't expect we'll see a trade deadline where stars are traded, or honestly, even like borderline all-stars are traded. I think it's going to be a solid role player X factor type of trade deadline. And I'll be honest, I don't think the Hawks, Raptors, or Heat will make big splashes during the trade deadline. Honestly, if the Raptors make a splash, to me, it's going to be to blow it up. And I'm being so honest right now, so serious. Like if the Raptors blow it, like make trades, it would be the trade to me. It'd be trading away OG or Fred. Now we'll see what that package looks like in return, but I don't think whatever they get back would be enough to make them contenders, in my opinion. If the Heat make a deal, honestly, I don't know the Heat's trade situation as well as I know some other teams. I got to do some research. I do want to do a maybe a more in-depth trade stream with y'all after we do, maybe, because this week we did East, next week we'll do West, maybe the week after that, that'll be like the week right before the trade deadline. Maybe we do some more in-depth trade stuff, and I really can have some research and go in depth with y'all. I don't see the Heat making a big splash that will make them contenders. To me, they need too much. They need too much offense, and from what I've read, they don't have enough pieces that would really make up enough money to really make a splash, to me at least. And the Hawks, the only trade I see surrounding the Hawks is getting rid of John Collins. So I don't, and I don't know what they would get back for him to make them a title contender. I don't know. Respectfully, I disagree. That's all I'm saying. The Heat to me, the Heat need more than just a 4 and a backup big, though. To me, the Heat need offense. To me, it's not, and I guess you could say a 4 would be the one that provide the offense, but I don't know what a good 4 for the Heat would even look like. That's a lot. A 4 and a backup big at the trade deadline, to get a starting caliber 4 and a backup big at the trade deadline, that's a big splash. Now, I know y'all got Duncan Robinson's contract, so y'all can match some money with some teams, but if you put Duncan Robinson out there, you're going to have to include some other pieces. Like, y'all might lose, I can't remember if y'all got Caleb Martin or Cody Martin off the top of my head, but the Martin the Martin guy, y'all might lose like Strus or Vincent. Like, y'all gonna have to include like some value in there. And I don't know how much value the Heat have that other teams want. Y'all got Duncan Robinson's contract, but I don't know what other teams actually want that. Like, I mean, maybe y'all can go steal, and I don't know if you can force him to play the 4, but to me, the Heat need offense. Y'all try to go get a Bojan Bogdanovic from the off the Pistons' hands. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the summer, so they probably ain't going to want much for him. You just got to make the money match. You go get him. To me, it's just not a lot of opportunity out there to make a team that's, to me at least, not a title contender or a contender. There's pieces out there that a contender can go get to fortify their contention, if you will. But to me, the Heat, the Raptors, nor the Hawks are title contenders. I think the Heat had the opportunity to make a move, but they had to do it in the offseason when big names were moving. There just isn't. It would surprise me a lot if there's a big enough trade to make any of those 3 teams real contenders for me. Guru posted in Discord. I'll check it out. Are there any trades in the Discord right now? Let me see. Oh, okay. All right, let me just take a look. Unlimited posted some stuff today. I don't know if this is too, he said, I don't know if this is too little, but getting some depth for a first round offensive bias sounds right. Also gives cap space to pay hard in the offseason / paying other players. It is something that the Sixers got to think about of what they're going to do with trade James Harden's contract. The Kings, so the Kings would get Tobias Harris. The Sixers would pick up Harrison Barnes, which I would really like. I don't know if the Kings wouldn't let him go, though, especially not for Tobias, to be honest with you. Richaun Holmes, that'd be low-key almost like a homecoming. I'll take him back on the Sixers, especially just a backup big. I know he has not looked as good as the Kings might have liked this season, but it is what it is. I don't think the Kings would do this. And honestly, but the way Tobias has been playing lately, I don't even know if I would do this. I know you can still make the argument that he's overpaid, but he's been playing well this season, especially considering all the injuries that we went through with. He's been playing well this season. I saw this in a vid. Sorry, I can give credit. Oh, it's all right. I don't be tripping on for the trade. You know what I'm saying? I don't be tripping. The Heat will receive Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr. Oh, that's good for the Heat, but what do they have to give up? Jovic and Lowry? Raptors get D'Lo? Now, Heat fans, I don't know if Heat fans would love this, because I know a lot of Heat fans do feel like they need a big and stuff. I like the Gary Trent Jr. pickup for them. I know Fred, we just talked about him playing a little underwhelming this year. It could be one of those situations where a change of scenery helps him. I kind of like this for the Heat. In theory, it wouldn't impact them defensively that much. I'll put that in quotes. Fred is typically a solid defender. I like that for the Heat. I also like this for the Timberwolves because in my world, the writing was on the wall. D'Angelo Russell's getting traded. I don't know if y'all know this by now, but the writing was on the wall. D'Lo is out of there. The only team I can see being honestly hesitant about this might be the Raptors, just because Gary Trent Jr. has been playing solid this year. Might have to throw in another pick for them. I don't know. Maybe something from the Timberwolves. Not 100% sure if they want D'Angelo Russell, but I do like that trade for all 3 of those teams for the most part. The Raptors is like the only team I'm like, I don't know how much they really want D'Lo. honestly, I don't know how much they want Jovic neither, considering they got Koloko, also another young center. I don't know. I like the trade for the most part, though. Yeah, I was about to say most Heat fans keep telling me the same thing. They need size. They're undersized. Y'all are. Y'all got a lot of holes. To me, the Heat got a lot of holes. Y'all are undersized. We said this in the offseason. Y'all needed to go out and get a big. Y'all didn't. I think Jakob Poeltl will be a good pickup for y'all. I know it's not crazy defensively, but it's a big with some size. And considering, I don't know how many centers are actually available. Maybe go try to steal Jared Vanderbilt from the Jazz. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Lowry ain't doing nothing. We need more guards. That's what I'm saying. The Heat need a lot, bro. Y'all need more. We don't. Oh, Lowry ain't doing nothing. We don't need more guards. You heard it from the man. Y'all don't need more guards. I don't think it's necessarily y'all need. And maybe I'm just I'm making the two one and the same. I agree. It's not necessarily that the Heat need more guards. The Heat need reliable offense. So whatever that looks like, whether it's a guard, a forward, a big, whatever that looks like, I say they would need a guard only because you already have Bam who's giving you offense. You already have Jimmy on the wing. To me, the only place that would fit to maybe not take away as much from those other guys would be the guard position offensively. So that's why I keep saying the guard. Because yes, I know y'all got Vincent, y'all got Strus, y'all got Hero, y'all got Lowry, y'all. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Did I say Dean Vincent? Like, y'all got guards. I get it. It's just y'all don't have consistent guards. And it could be, we saw Strus go crazy in the playoffs last year. Y'all got guys who can spark fire, but they just don't strike consistency to me. They don't strike consistency to me. Fed, I watch them on YouTube now, on TikTok, loves your vids. How long have you been streaming? What did we start at 8 o'clock? We start every stream every Wednesday. I don't even know if you're still in the TikTok live. I ain't even gonna lie to you. The TikTok live is really just there so y'all see it. Y'all be half interested in the conversation, and y'all click the link in the bio and pull up to the YouTube. Because the YouTube chat I'd be looking at on a regular. But we stream every Wednesday at 8 o'clock if you are just joining the TikTok stream. Literally just get Luka is crazy. Hey, John Morant's back. I feel like I ain't seen that name in a minute. I ain't seen the NBA players pull up in a minute. 30 million expiring for the Raptors. That's true. That is true. Vincent is solid. Oladipo is solid. They're solid, sure. But Vo been in and out of the lineup all season long. He's not really been like Vo played, I think, 20 games out of the 40 possible so far this season. Let me look. Let me just, before I go. The only reason I felt like I'm always so hard on the Heat, because y'all got the building blocks. Y'all just ain't putting the team around it. Y'all is right there. Y'all stole Jimmy Butler from me, and y'all ain't putting the team around him that I need y'all to put around him. To me, that's just how I feel. So maybe that's why I'm always hard on the Heat, because it's just like, I need y'all to do more. That's what I'm saying. It ain't like solid. Depot is inconsistent. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not seeing the solid Rage. I'm not gonna lie to you, Rage. I'm not seeing the solid. Depot on this season, I mean, he's averaging 11 on 31% from 3 and 40% from the field. That ain't solid to me. That ain't solid. Y'all need consistent offense. That's what this team is missing. Because when I turn into a Heat game, it be them grind out ugly games. Like when y'all hit 40 free throws the other night. That was one of them grind out uglies. That was a grind out ugly. It was historic. And shout out to y'all for hitting free throws. But it was ugly. Vincent. Where's Vincent at? Where is Vincent at? Gabe Vincent. He's averaging 9 on 32% from 3 and 41% from the field. So they're each shooting 5 threes a game, and they make 1.5. This team does not have enough. Maybe that's why I keep saying guard, because the team needs space. The team needs shooting. Bam and Jimmy need room to work. They need some shooters on the court that are consistent and reliable. So when Bam does get double teamed, he's kicking it out to a guy who's like 37% from three, not 31. It don't feel like a difference, but it is. And I know shooters aren't cheap. There's a high commodity. Shooting is the most valuable thing in the NBA. I get all of that. It's not easy to do. It's just, I just wish there was just more. Gabe, he's still inconsistent. Yeah, Gabe had 28, but he's inconsistent because who knows? Yeah, I don't know. VO is just getting back. Hawk, you need to look at recent games. I mean, we can look at the recents. We can. Over the last 10, I will say VO was playing better. But this is my problem with VO. He might be playing better one day. See, is he playing better? I can't tell. Let's take a look at this together. Let's all take a look at this together. Let's get into this. We're talking about the Heat. I don't know how we got here. I don't want this to feel like I'm picking on you, Rage, or the Heat. I'm just curious. You said look at recent games, so I'm going to look at recent games. Over this stretch here, let's just take a look at this stretch. I just want to see this stretch. This 9-game stretch, 16 points a game, 43% from the field, 37% from three. This is solid. If Depot can keep up 37% from three, that'd be lovely. But it's only a 10-game sample size. Obviously, he didn't play all of this. There's some times from in and out of here. We get it. He's coming back slowly from injury. It's a lot. But part of the getting back slowly from injury is one of the things I was talking about in the offseason when I said y'all need to find some replacements because I don't know if you can trust Victor Oladipo. So shout out to VO. All right, let's look at Vincent because we was talking about recent games. Let's just take a look. I'm curious. Let's look at Vincent's last 10. Golly, what is all these inactives? Did not play. Inactive, did not play. Like, gosh. 10, 27, 28, 10, 10, 10, 3. Okay, so by recents for Vincent, we're talking about the last 4. Because if I say last 10, we're going to be also pulling this 3, this 6, this 2. But, let's look at it. So we'll go. Did my mouse just die? It sure did. All right. So we'll go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Vincent in his last 10 points a game, 35% from three, 44% from the field. It's better. It's better for sure. It's better for sure. But he's getting used to playing again. His defense is on top. I get it. I get it. He is getting used to it. I get it. Who is Hawk got a big forehead, bro? Who is this, bro? Who is this, bro? You might as well leave a like. If you gonna say I got a big forehead, this account specific better have left a like. The last 4 he came back from his injury. Who you talking about, Vincent or VO? I mean, yeah, Oladipo or Vincent? Hey, Ant-Man, what's good? How you doing, bro? Hey, Kevin Huerter would have fit perfect for that team. That's the type. Thank you, Real, for this, because I was trying to think of the type of player or the type of move that would have been available in the offseason that, Huerter ended up on the Kings instead, but that's the type of guy that the Heat could have benefited from, to me. 100% the type of guy y'all could have benefited from. Vincent is coming back. His last 4 is coming back from injury? You mean coming back as in... Oh, I see what you're saying. Coming back and playing and stuff. I can get that. Because most of these games, he played just under 20 or right at 20. And the other games, last 4, he was actually back in the starting lineup. I get it. And y'all won 2 games against Milwaukee. You beat OKC. You lost against Atlanta. Doesn't make okay. Beat Milwaukee, but lost against Atlanta. Maybe the Heat will prove me wrong, bro. I'm not fully tapped into Heat culture. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's just a team that I feel like could be better than they are. To me. And their season so far, and I get it. It's a little, could be a little bit of an overreaction because, like we said in the beginning, the Eastern Conference is very, very close. So yes, technically, are the Heat the 7 seed? Yeah, but they win 4 or 5 games. They're the 4 seed. So this could be an overreaction. This could be me thinking about the playoffs and how I potentially see it going. But I mean, when you got Jimmy Butler on your team in the playoffs, anything is possible because Jimmy turns into Himothy in the playoffs. So I get it. I get it. Yeah, Herter was free, bro. Herter was free. Herter was free. He could have went anywhere. Yeah. Nah, that is crazy. That is crazy. That is. I'm not clicking that username. That's crazy. I'm not clicking that username. I'm not clicking that. Hawks left, but there's the right one. Hey, that's. So y'all see the comments too. I ain't clicking that. He need Lonzo and it's over. Lonzo is not coming through that door. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Seems like they need Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr. All right. Anything that's going on? We can talk about the fact that who? Svi? Hey, every now and then, I think I'm gonna make this a TikTok because I was having this conversation with my boys. My boys were saying something, and I was like, "Wait, who is over where?" And they was like, "Nah, I don't even remember what it was. A couple weeks ago." Every now and then, y'all will type something in the chat, and I'll be like, "Who?" It's okay to be a casual. That's the moral of this story. It's okay to be a casual because in my head, I'm like, "Who?" There was one more trade I wanted to look at that I want to say they said was in the Discord. No. Kent Bradenor for matching salaries, 30 million expiring. Matisse for Mike Muscala. It's so funny to me. Matisse, I don't know Matisse's value, but Plumlee would be a great backup. Plumlee and Matisse for Matisse and Furkan for Plumlee from the what's the name? And I want to say Matisse is. I want to say on the end of his. Is he on the end of his contract? He's either on the end of his contract or he's up for extension. I can't remember exactly which one is which. I was reading about Matisse today, and it's crazy how like his career has gone. He's only in his 3rd year, but he's made 2 All-NBA teams. He's All-NBA second team, all defensive team, excuse me. He was all defensive second team last year. He's got the potential to be like a defensive player of the year at some point in his career, but he's a complete negative on the offensive side of the ball. He's playing the least amount of minutes he's ever played. He's at, I want to say 18 games this season where he's played less than either 10 or 10 minutes, I want to say. Yeah, he's had 18 games this season where he's played less than 10 minutes, and that's crazy when you consider that Harden and Maxey were out for a lot of this season. They still managed to have 18 games where he played less than 10 minutes. And I love Matisse's game. I always have loved Matisse's game. He came into Philly and like I feel like stole the hearts of Philly fans. But offensively, he is a liability. You know what's crazy? I saw that video and I was like, I'll be watching this later off stream by myself and I will react in the Discord. I will not be watching that on stream. Oh, he got waived last offseason. Okay. All right. I got you. He got waived. Okay. That makes sense. I don't like being a Minnesota sports fan. That's tough, Ant-Man. That hit different just after last Sunday, or was it Saturday, Sunday? Y'all know I don't follow football like that, but That's tough. That is tough. I'll pray for you. It's crazy. That's a screenshot. LeBron James is in. Oh, see, you almost got me. You almost got me. I clicked it. I clicked it. I clicked it. That's a screenshot. All right. This has been good. This has been a good stream, guys. I hope y'all had a good time. Any last thoughts before we head up out of here? We've been going for 2 hours and 5 minutes. You know what's crazy? We've been here for 2 hours. We could have did the Western Conference, but it's all right. I need content for next week, and it was just some other random stuff I just wanted to talk about, hang out with y'all, answer questions. That's kind of how streams be ending. We usually have a structured majority of the stream for like an hour and a half. Last half hour turns into whatever, wherever y'all take the conversation. Daiquiri to end the game. I'm going to say LeBron James or MJ. MJ. Cam, see you, Hawk. Take care. And this is wild. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. I'll see y'all next week, 8 p.m. Eastern. Yes, we will talk about the Lakers next week. I have a lot of thoughts on the Lakers. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with the boy. And I'll see y'all next week. And if you're not already in the Discord, join the Discord because I finally got a chat about the work. I'll see y'all next week. I'm out of here. Peace. All right.